And Richard Phelps, the umpire, just going through the protocol. You've heard it all before now, haven't you? The umpire tells the crew how he or she is going to start them. Then it's off, and the Ivy Dining Club of Princeton squeeze first.
And they might be just ahead. Here they go, a little bit wayward with their steering, and now there's Kiwis have reacted as well. They want to stay out of trouble here.
Well, the big question on my mind after watching these guys, you know, destroy the opposition in the final of the Second World Cup at Poznan is how quick are they? And do they rank with the great Kiwi pair Bond and Murray, also Silver Goblets and Nickalls winners here at Henley?
See that rhythm that they had in the 8, can't you? Still there in the pair.
Well, they called it big boy rhythm. You know, Tony O'Connor called it big boy rhythm, the coach of the Kiwi.
Yeah, that was a great interview you had with him. He was so open, wasn't he, talking about the stuff he was doing and how the guys worked so hard to create this. We hear the two boys from Pienaar and Stocovaz.
No, that's the... Yeah, Pienaar and Stocovaz, sorry. I kind of looked at the black top and thought it was the Kiwis, eh?
Yeah, maybe they're wearing that in homage to the New Zealand All Blacks next to them. Yeah, this is a good pair, isn't it? They're good guys. They've been rowing in Princeton for 4 years, and they're now going on to have careers afterwards.
They beat Sydney comfortably yesterday after a few steering warnings, which they kind of look to have sorted out today. Canada Geese, they're kind of always a bit of a nuisance, the Canada Geese. They've comfortably got out of the way, so I don't think any wildlife were injured in filming this race.
No, and the Kiwi pair here, really good blade work. Like you said, there is this heritage of the pair, the last 2 Olympic Games with Bond and Murray being so dominant. And these guys, do they want to be Hamish and Bond, or do they just want to win races?
Yeah. There we got some boat speeds of 16.8 kilometres an hour. It's really great to give you an idea.
We had some women's 8s doing 16 kilometres an hour a few days ago. That's amazing speed from this crew.
Yeah, into a headwind as well. World record of 6:08 held by Murray and Bond. The great New Zealand pair set that in a heat at the London Olympics, and I think they also hold a record. I'm trying to look through my notes. I think they also hold a record for the sort of Goblets and Nickalls Challenge Cup as well. No, they don't.
Here we go, 15.6 kilometres an hour, so 0.4 of a kilometre an hour seems like not very much, but look at the difference it creates between these two crews. Even that small difference in speed is worth a big margin. That shows you how close this event is.
We're looking at Stocovaz and Pienaar from the Ivy Dining Club of Princeton. They're on the left of your picture as we go to that long shot there.
So Martin, if you were in this Kiwi pair, how would you have approached today, knowing what the opposition was like?
Well, I think, the Kiwis, they're on the other side of the draw to the two British squad pairs, so pretty much they're looking at opposition which they should comfortably beat. And, they'll be talking with the coach, Gary Roberts, just going through, getting off the start very quickly, and then getting into a really strong rhythm. It's interesting, in Poznan in the semi-final, they got beat by the Dutch pair of Nicky van Sprang and Lennart van Leeuwen. And then it was like a switch went on in the final. They just destroyed them in that final race. And it was phenomenal what they had, up their sleeve from the semi-final to the final. Another thing about the maid, and I'm going to ask you about this, is Matt Macdonald, who is the bowman of the Kiwi pair. He's closest to us. He rode in the stroke seat of that Kiwi A, and Tom Mackintosh, who's in the bow, in the stroke seat, he rode at bow in that Kiwi A. So how do you make out that?
It's really interesting. I mean, I guess it's a credit to how flexible those guys are and how good they are. And maybe it's just that the Macdonald in the bow seat, because when you're in the stroke seat of an 8, you're also managing the boat. You're communicating with the coxswain, you're deciding what needs to be done. And maybe the fact that's what he's good at as well, is that being in the bow of the pair, he can also manage the pair.
Yeah. So they've gone for a bowside stroke. I would have thought that Matt Macdonald would have sat in the stroke seat. Both these guys, we saw Hamish Bond put out the average ergos of this Kiwi 8, which was what, around about the 5:45, 5:46
like
mark?
Yeah. Power to weight was pretty phenomenal, wasn't it?
That's on the 2K ergometer test, and you basically take a time for 2K, and you know, anywhere around 540s is pretty impressive, really. Sub 540 is amazing. These guys not quite sub 540 like Tom George in the British pair is.
No, that's what's going to be interesting, because there are going to be some powerful boys racing each other. And I think that's one of the things about rowing, is that people talk about it being really technical. And I remember I was with Dave O'Neill a while ago, and he was saying that it's a power sport, and we do a bit of technique.
Yeah, that's Texas rowing coach Dave O'Neill.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of the truth, is that you look at this, these guys produce so much power, and powerful athletes are the ones that win races. You know, they're the crew makers, but they still need to row well to be the best.
And you know, how much confidence do these guys have? You know, a lot of the Kiwis have, you know, hung up their blades, people like Hamish Bond and so on, after that Tokyo win. How much confidence do they have this season, being Olympic champions, coming into an event like this in the pair?
Personally, I can't make a comment on that, because I've not won Olympic gold medal, and you have. But I think it must change the self-belief you have, that you managed to beat everybody else, and then you come back and just, you know what you do works, so you just keep doing it.
Well, oddly enough, the year after I won Olympic gold back in Los Angeles, the next year I was in a pair with Adam Clift, and we had a great season, just missed out by 800ths from winning the gold at the World Championships. But felt like I was walking on air for some of it, so, you know, I think you do get a lift.
It's amazing, isn't it? Now, looking at these guys here, I know we haven't said much about the Ivy guys here, you can see in the background on the left, but I think looking at these Kiwi pairs, there's lots of discussion about this whole hand speed thing at the finish. And people say, oh, their hands stop, a bit like the Australians, who are a bit more extreme than this. But actually, the Kiwis here, their bodies definitely stop whilst they let the boat settle, but actually their hands are, even if they're a little bit slower, they are continuous. And you can see here how their bodies are still, and their arms and elbows are separated away.
That's a great shout, Aid, isn't it? I think model for any rowers looking to paddle a pair, how that stillness in the body, and they keep that stillness in the body as they come out forward, rotate round the pin at the front ends, and they've got great connection with the water. Credit to both them and their coach, Gary Roberts.
Here, the Ivy guys here on the left-hand side, they know what they're up against, but here they're still, you can see, look at the effort on their face. They are still trying to put in their best performance today. And he was all smiles, wasn't he, at the camera at the beginning? He's not all smiles now, is he?
He is not. Stefan Pienaar, the 22-year-old in the stroke seats, competed for South Africa in the juniors and under-23. Also, did read that he held the world 24-hour record for under-19 Concept 2.
Well, he's a tough old boy then.
Yeah,
huh?
which he doesn't hold it now, but it's about 270,464 metres, the current record.
Roughly.
You know, the guy's a complete fruitcake if he's done that. My hat goes off to it. Yeah. So it's the Kiwi pair, the great Kiwi pair so far of Matt Macdonald and Tom Mackintosh, out of the New Zealand 8 that took gold in Tokyo. They've gone into the pair this year, and they have shown everyone that they are an absolute force to be reckoned with, and they progress through to tomorrow's semi-final comfortably against their opponents, William Stocovaz and Stefan Pienaar from the Princeton Ivy Dining Club. Across the finish line now, and we'll give you confirmation of that result. Kiwis hasn't taken too much out of them. Macdonald and Mackintosh beat Stocovaz and Pienaar.